Hello, everybody on YouTube. It is pretty late here on the East Coast, but this is going to be the second video of the week. Um, Tonight is the 1889 World Series here on the MLB Time Capsule. I want to say thank you to everybody that has been watching the videos. I know that this one is later in the week, but I had a lot going on Thursday and Friday, so I was unable to do that. So you're getting it here on Saturday. Stay tuned at the end of the video. We're going to be talking about what I'm going to be doing for college football. And eventually I do plan, like I said, to expand outwards into, maybe games at some point and maybe comics at some point, but that's like way down the line. But anyway, this one tonight, we're going to do this sort of fast because it is late here, and I want to get this out to you guys. So 1889. These three things I know are true. So, Mr. Benjamin Harrison was the new president of the United States. America still did not yet have all 50 states. And the New York Giants are returning to the World Series as defending champions. It is the 1889 World Series here on the MLB Time Capsule. Let's get into it. I hope you liked that intro. If you see the Sports Talk logo to change on here on StreamYard, it'll be to represent the different sports I'm talking about, but we'll get to that. So 1889. So representing the National League, once again led by manager Jim Muttrey with a record of 83, 43, and 5. The defending champions, the New York Giants, and representing the American Association, led by manager Bill McGonigal with a record of 93, 44, and 3. The Brooklyn Bridebgrooms. So the 1889 World Series, it was part of the pre-modern era World Series. The Giants win this one, so they repeat as champions. This 11-game series, 6 games to 3. It was the first one involving solely New York area clubs. It was part of a continuum of a long-standing rivalry that developed between the clubs in New York, particularly the Giants and the Dodgers. So right now, the Brooklyn Bridebgrooms, folks, are what will eventually become the Brooklyn Dodgers. But like I said, because it's 1889, they don't exist right now. Forget about the Dodgers. You don't know that they exist. Brooklyn was a separate city, but despite the series setbacks, they would come back strong. But we're going to get into this here. There's not a whole lot of information on this one, so that's why it's going to be kind of short here. All they really talk about is just the games, so we don't really have too much stats on these. So that's why this one's going to be sort of short. The game, it was played in the Polo Grounds and at Washington Park. Polo Grounds, home of the Giants. Washington Park, home of Brooklyn. So, October 17th, the two club owners, John Day and Charles Boone, met to arrange a postseason series. They agreed that the series would end when one team had won 6 games, because back then, they didn't have like just regular 7-game series. Sometimes games would go 6. As you saw in one of them, it would go, I think, like 15 when the Detroit Wolverines run it. So, yeah. So the series commenced the next day and continued through October 29th when the Giants won their 6th game. Attendance was good for the first 2 games, but then the weather turned cold and rainy because back then that was a thing that happened. So game 1, October 18th at the Polo Grounds, saw Brooklyn defeat New York 12-10. It was a very high-scoring game. Game 2 saw New York come back and smack Brooklyn 6-2. Game 3 saw Brooklyn beat New York in 8 innings, 8-7. It was a close affair. Game 4 in Brooklyn saw The Brooklyn Bridebgrooms beat New York 8-7 in 6 innings, so they're up now 3-1. So Game 5, in Brooklyn, New York came back to win 11-3. Game 6, New York beat them in 11 innings 2-1. Game 7, they beat them 11-7, and then Game 8, 16-7, in Game 9, 3-2. So yeah, not a competitive series to an extent. Not a whole lot of competition in some of the games. Some of the games were a blowout, and others were close. But like I said, there's really not a whole lot here to talk about for this one. So we are not going to this is going to be a bit shorter than others. And I also want to let you guys know that some years the World Series was not played as we go through this. Because after 1890, the next one is 1892. And then after that, it's 1894. And so on. So 1891 and 93 will not be covered unless I can find what was going on in there. So you guys will have to work with me on that one. I will look it up, and I may do a very brief overview of the 1891 season. That'll be after 1890. We'll see what we can do with that. It'll be a brief thing, but I wanted to say thank you all for this one. Like I said, it was going to be kind of short today. They didn't have a whole lot of information on this, and it's also late here, so I wanted to get this out to you guys. But anyway, I wanted to say that we will be starting college football stuff next week here on YouTube and Twitch. Now, we will be doing on Monday college football week 1 picks. I'll be going over the games for week 0 because that's, they have this thing called week 0 where some teams play, then they have full week 1. So I'm going to be doing the games for week 0 and week 1. I'm going to be telling you who's going to win and all of that. And then eventually we will start live streaming. So I'll be using my camera on here. So if you see me live streaming, stop by, say hello, drop me a message. I always like to read the comments on StreamYard, or as I'm streaming on YouTube, stop in, say hello. I always like to interact with viewers and all of that. And you can look forward to that. I'm still working on what the live streams will be like and what I plan to do for those. First couple will probably just be me going over the scores and talking about the games. They're going to be mostly at night because I'll have more time to analyze games. And, the night games, most of them are like West Coast games. So we'll be able to watch those. They're not going to be that long. I know that some people go for like 2 or 3 hours. I'll try to make these at least 40, maybe 45 minutes to start off with, and then we'll see what we can do. Plus, also with StreamYard, there's only so much that you can use. I think it's like 20 hours before you can't stream again for a month, so I want to be sure that I stay under that limit since I'm on the free plan, because the upgraded plan right now, I'm not going to be able to do that, so we won't be able to do that for a while, but one day that is the plan, to be able to upgrade to the more advanced options. But yeah, that was 1889. So the Giants won their second in a row. Now the next time we meet, it'll be 1890, and hopefully that video will also come out on Monday. I hope to get you guys 2 videos out on there. If not Monday, that one will be on the Thursday one. So 1890, look who's back. It is the Brooklyn Dodgers. They're back after losing. And they're going to go up against a new team that we haven't seen. The Louisville Colonials is their opponent. So, what will happen in this one? Will we see Brooklyn win? Will Louisville win? Or could it be possible that there will be a tie? You just have to wait and see. But anyway, this is Sports Talk Live. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Also, you can find me on Twitch at Sports Talk Live as well. So be sure to drop me a follow on there. We're almost to 200 followers. So thank you, everybody. And I will see you all soon.